One bout concluded, yet the real excitement started the instant Terence Crawford broke his quiet stance. In his own words, "I'ma keep my comments to myself, but y'all get it."
Thought you wasn't gonna watch it.
That's it.
Crawford?
I mean, I don't know. He retired, so that's what he's doing right now. He in retirement, he chilling, so we'll see. If he come out, you know, we'll see.
You said you're different than even him or any other fighters, but what is different about Jaron Ennis than a Terence Crawford or anyone else for that matter, but specifically Terence?
I'm just different. Y'all know I'm different. Y'all know.
Rather than resolving the discussion, his reply ignited a completely fresh debate, leaving supporters arguing over what the outcome genuinely signifies for boxing's biggest names. Certain individuals believe it uncovered a concealed truth that nobody wanted to acknowledge. What specifically drew Crawford's focus? And why is everyone suddenly viewing this weight class through a different lens?
I honestly love both fighters. I got on to Xander last year, I think in February. He fought Slava, and I thought it was a great fight. He got the stoppage. I think he's an amazing fighter. I think he's a complete fighter. I think when it comes to experience, he doesn't have what Boots has. He's a unified champ, but not a lineal champ. He hasn't.
He know a little bit.
I'm just saying Boots is different, and the kind of competition that he has and the way that he dismantles his opponents is it's just something special in the division. So,
just when the boxing community thought it had discovered its next invincible champion, a single contest turned the narrative upside down in spectacular fashion. Jaron "Boots" Ennis arrived at 154 pounds, carrying massive expectations, while Xander Zayas entered the ring determined to demonstrate he deserved a place among boxing's upper echelon.
Okay, after watching these press conferences and even going back and watching some of his fights, I don't. It's getting closer to a 50-50 with the Xander Zayas and Boots fight. Boots is a much flashier fighter. He's faster. I feel like he has more tools. But I believe Xander, he's big, he's durable. He'll go to the body, and he's not scared of Boots. I believe he's going to slow down Boots by going to the body because Boots has elite head movement. I believe he's going to run up the volume of his punches. And I believe he's bigger than...
Yeah, a lot of boxers are going after Boots right now just because they saw him get hurt, obviously. And I get it. I wasn't expecting that. But, of course, we're all going to think now, is Boots overrated? Is Boots, just not as good as we thought? And I don't think it's that. I think Xander picked a moment and he, gathered all that will and all that bravery to land that big shot. And
by the time the final bell never sounded, fans were no longer debating who emerged victorious. They were posing an even greater question. After observing Ennis dismantle one of boxing's most promising young talents, Terence Crawford finally spoke up, and suddenly the discussion shifted from one incredible fight to the prospect of one legendary return.
That's a tough fight, especially for Xander at this point in his career, but it shows his heart and his confidence, that he have in himself. And he's ready to go make history for his country. And he's going to do real well in that fight. I just think, right now, it's a little bit too early.
But I think the older he gets, 33, 34, 35, that's when he becomes the type of fighter you can't hit. You know what I mean?
So what could you kind of tell him in terms of trying to shore up his defense a little bit? Because when he got hit in the third,
it's not really about when you throw, you're going to get hit. He loves fighting. He's a fighter at heart.
There is something captivating about boxing that no other sport quite replicates. A single evening can completely overturn years of forecasts, anticipation, and carefully assembled storylines. Competitors spend months preparing for 12 rounds only for one punch to transform everything in a split second.
Just watch the weigh-in for Xander Zayas and Jaron "Boots" Ennis. They don't look like they had to bury themselves to make the weight. Both look extremely confident. I think we're going to have a good fight on our hands. I still got Jaron "Boots" Ennis winning by TKO in the 9th round. I think Xander can make it one hell of a fight if he stays on his feet, keeps moving, make him miss, make him pay. I think that's going to be extremely hard with Jaron's forward pressure. his ability to just hunt whatever's in front of him down and find the openings. I think we got a fight on our hands. I think this might be one of Jaron's toughest nights, and I think that's really necessary. Not saying I'm not discrediting or crediting anybody's resume.
That is precisely what occurred when Jaron "Boots" Ennis and Xander Zayas stepped into the ring in one of the year's most eagerly awaited junior middleweight title clashes. Fans anticipated a technical showcase between two undefeated stars. But what they received was something even more compelling. They witnessed a contest that tested skill, composure, resilience, power, and heart while reigniting discussions involving one man who was not even inside the arena's ropes when the first bell rang. Leading into the matchup, opinions were sharply divided. Many believed Ennis would simply be too seasoned and too physically gifted after moving up from welterweight. Others argued that Zayas possessed the speed, timing, and boxing intelligence necessary to expose any vulnerabilities that might emerge during Ennis' first major campaign at 154 pounds. Every prediction sounded reasonable because both men had constructed impressive undefeated records, and both carried the self-assurance that only unbeaten fighters seem to possess. Still, there was one question hovering over the entire event. Would Ennis' devastating power travel with him into a heavier division? Or would the naturally bigger fighters finally neutralize his greatest weapon? It took less than one round for everyone watching to receive an answer. The opening moments immediately established Ennis's intentions. Rather than easing himself into unfamiliar territory, he marched forward with remarkable confidence, throwing combinations that instantly reminded fans why so many experts have considered him one of boxing's most naturally gifted talents.
I think we all knew Boots was going to win, and I don't want to hear Zayas was not ready. I know y'all going to try to pull that out of your back pocket. Round 3 showed y'all he definitely had the potential to be in there with Boots. Boots, your chin is a little questionable. I'm going to be honest. That straight right in the third. Very questionable. You're an amazing fighter, though. We all knew we were going to pull this one out. Your next fight needs to be Virgil Ortiz, and he is talking very spicy on X right now, saying that if he gets that version of you, he's going to put you out. That's your next fight. You already got the big name on your resume now because that was everybody's complaint that you haven't fought anybody. Now you have a big name on your resume. Your next fight needs to be Virgil Ortiz. You need to get in the ring with him, and we need to see exactly what you can do when it comes to having another big name under your belt.
Then came the punch that completely altered the night's trajectory. Ennis connected with a thunderous combination that sent Zayas crashing to the canvas in the opening round. The crowd erupted because nobody expected such an early statement. Some fans had barely settled into their seats before the fight's first major turning point unfolded. Although Zayas beat the count and showed no intention of quitting, the knockdown forced him into survival mode much earlier than anyone predicted. Social media immediately exploded with reactions, claiming the fight could be over within a couple more rounds. However, boxing has a funny habit of making confident predictions look ridiculous. Instead of allowing the knockdown to define his night, Zayas slowly rebuilt his confidence. During the second round, he began moving more effectively using angles instead of standing directly in front of Ennis. By the third round, his jab started finding its target more consistently, and his timing improved with every exchange. Then came one of the biggest surprises of the evening. Zayas landed several sharp counters that briefly caught Ennis clean, forcing the champion to respect his opponent's offensive ability. There were moments when Zayas appeared to stun Ennis just enough to remind everyone that this was not becoming a one-sided demolition. Suddenly, fans who had written him off after the opening knockdown found themselves praising his toughness and composure. Round 4 became one of the most discussed rounds after the fight.
The experienced fighter, he's a bit older and a bit meaner than Zayas is. But I think it's going to be a great fight. I think Xander's taking all the best competition that he could find. I think he's trying to he's focused on titles. He's I think, what is he like? He has less than 30 fights, I think.
He's 23. He's been fighting.
Yeah, and he's a kid. So I feel like he's going after the best competition. So I always want to give that the honor and respect that it deserves. But I got to give the edge a little bit just on experience.
I would give the edge a lot.
Many observers believe Zayas actually edged the round through intelligent movement, cleaner punching, and growing confidence. Instead of simply surviving, he had begun competing. Every successful exchange earned louder cheers while analysts praised his ability to recover mentally after such a disastrous opening. For a brief moment, it genuinely looked as though momentum might be shifting. That possibility lasted only until Ennis decided otherwise. Championship fighters have an incredible ability to sense when a fight is becoming competitive, and Ennis demonstrated exactly why he belongs in that category. Early in the 5th round, he adjusted beautifully, refusing to chase wild punches despite the crowd urging him forward. Instead, he remained patient, continued working behind his jab, and waited for the perfect opening. When it finally appeared, Ennis unleashed a devastating uppercut, followed by a vicious combination that sent Zayas down for the second time. He trusted his fundamentals, stayed disciplined, and allowed his superior timing to create another breakthrough. That patience became one of the defining themes of his performance. During the 6th round, Ennis avoided the temptation to hunt recklessly for the knockout. Many exciting punchers fall into that trap, wasting energy while giving opponents opportunities to counter. Ennis did the opposite. He controlled distance beautifully with his jab, mixed body shots with head attacks, and steadily increased the pressure until every exchange became physically exhausting for Zayas.
With age, the older you get, the smarter you get, the more wiser you get. Then you realize, like, I take less risk and I become more of a boxer. He has that ability. But now he's young and he's in his prime. He's the dog. He likes fighting. He enjoys it.
He could have been better. I think he could have been sharper. I think he could have took his time a little more. But when you knock somebody down in the 1st round, your mindset is, I could do that again. I could stop him. You know what I mean? So I understand where he was at. But I ain't like it. I ain't like when he got caught and how he reacted to it. And I can't knock him because, you know what I mean? I don't know what the going on in his head. But at the same time, he got himself together. He stuck to the game plan behind the jab, and he kept going to that body, sneaking little shots in there to the body. And I felt like that's what got him the victory.
To his immense credit, Zayas never stopped fighting. His courage quickly became one of the night's biggest talking points. Every time Ennis landed another heavy combination, Zayas answered back with determination that earned respect from fans across the boxing world. Nobody questioned his toughness. Nobody questioned his desire. Unfortunately, desire alone cannot overcome a fighter performing at an elite championship level. By the 7th round, the accumulation of punishment had simply become too much. Ennis launched another crushing offensive sequence that resulted in a 3rd knockdown. The 7th round TKO officially crowned Ennis as the unified WBA and WBO super welterweight champion while preserving his undefeated record. Perhaps even more significantly, it handed Xander Zayas the first defeat of his professional career. Ironically, losing sometimes tells fans more about a fighter than winning ever could. Despite suffering 3 knockdowns, Zayas never looked for an easy way out. He continued searching for opportunities, accepted defeat with remarkable maturity afterward, and openly admitted that Ennis was simply the better fighter on the night. That honesty earned widespread praise because boxing often rewards accountability just as much as confidence. Ennis also handled victory exactly the way champions should.
A lot in the build-up to this fight that you don't mind getting hit. You accept being hit so that you can stay in the pocket and exchange. Was that a decision you were making tonight, or was Xander landing punches?
Who said that?
This has been the narrative in the media. Well, Jaron gets hit. That's what I'm saying, but Jaron gets hit because he lets himself be hit so that he can stay in the pocket and in exchange. Right. So the punches landed on you were to Xander's credit.
That's just, you can say that, but then that's just me having them little lazy moments and just not like being sharp like how I'm supposed to be. And just, you got to get out of that habit. Just them little lazy moments, and we're gonna go work on that on the gym. We're gonna fix those things.
Rather than dismissing his opponent, he praised Zayas's resilience and admitted he expected a difficult challenge from the talented young contender. He explained that patience remained the key throughout the fight because forcing a knockout against dangerous opponents often creates unnecessary risks. Finally, he made one objective crystal clear. He wants every championship belt at 154 pounds. That statement immediately sent fans into speculation mode. If Ennis intends to dominate the division, who can realistically challenge him? That question inevitably brought one familiar name back into the headlines. Although Crawford has spoken about retirement possibilities following his incredible accomplishments across multiple weight classes, great fighters rarely stay away from conversations involving elite talent. One group argued that Crawford has already accomplished everything necessary to secure his place among boxing's all-time greats. They believe retirement would protect his legacy while allowing younger champions to establish their own eras. Another group completely rejected that idea. They looked at Ennis's dominant performance and immediately imagined one final blockbuster showdown between two of the most technically gifted fighters of this generation. For years, fans dreamed about Crawford and Ennis meeting at welterweight, but promotional complications, mandatory obligations, and changing career paths prevented the fight from becoming reality.
Division unified champ. Let that sink in. In the four-belt era, he got 3 divisions in which he had all 4 of them.
Hey, if the bag big enough, that man will come fight, Uncle.
Hey, Joe, we know the script now.
Yeah.
Come on, Uncle, we know the script. We done see many boxers retired, and they do it on purpose. They retire while they on top.
Yeah,
it's only one way to get him out.
Yep,
make it worth my while.
How much are we talking?
Hello.
Huh?
Hello.
It's gonna take a Canelo number, but man, Boots looked unbelievable. Had him on the show. He seemed, you guys, we talked to him.
Now, the possibility has unexpectedly returned. Instead of fighting at 147 pounds, both men could potentially collide at junior middleweight. Of course, that remains pure speculation for now, but boxing has always thrived on dream matchups. Every memorable era features one fight that fans simply refuse to stop discussing until it either happens or disappears forever. Could Crawford truly return from retirement for a challenge like this? The answer depends on several factors. Physically, many observers believe Crawford still possesses the skills necessary to compete with anyone in the world. His timing, defensive awareness, adaptability, and ring intelligence have never depended solely upon youth or athleticism. Crawford has already captured world championships in multiple divisions, defeated elite opposition, and established a Hall of Fame legacy. Returning simply for another payday would seem completely out of character. Returning for one defining challenge against perhaps boxing's next dominant champion feels far more believable. That possibility alone explains why Crawford's response generated so much excitement. Meanwhile, Ennis has suddenly become the man everyone wants to fight. His performance against Zayas answered perhaps the biggest concern surrounding his move to 154 pounds.
I want to ask you one thing, because I do remember that moment in Vegas where you were there for Sebastian Fundora and he did not take that fight. I know that you've invested so much time into a successful fight plan for Boots Ennis. Without detailing all of it, but at least speaking generally, can you tell us why you win this fight?
Man, I got great speed. I got great power, good defense. I know how to move. I know how to fight. I know how to counter. I know how to do everything in there, and I don't think he's faced a fighter like that.
At 23, do you feel like now that the fight is made that maybe he made a mistake picking you at this early age?
Age, world champ, you can't even say he's too young. Age is a number, but he in the way, he gotta go. So he's about here.
You're not in your 30s, you're 28. They act like there's a huge age difference and age gap. Are you at your peak now? Are you happy to be facing a younger fighter to show what you can do at 28?
I feel like everything perfect timing. Everything perfect timing. And you're gonna see Saturday night.
At the same time, fans should avoid being unfair to Xander Zayas because one defeat does not erase years of outstanding development. Some of boxing's greatest champions experienced painful setbacks before reaching legendary status. What matters most now is how he responds. If anything, surviving 7 demanding rounds against one of the sport's best fighters could ultimately accelerate his long-term growth. Sometimes losing teaches lessons that victory never can. As the dust continues settling, this fight will likely be remembered for much more than another championship changing hands. It showcased elite skill, dramatic momentum swings, incredible resilience, and the emergence of a genuine force in a new weight class. Most importantly, it reopened conversations that many believed had already ended. Whether he chooses retirement or one final masterpiece, one thing is impossible to deny. Jaron "Boots" Ennis delivered the kind of performance that forces even the sport's greatest champions to pay attention. If that was his goal all along, mission accomplished. If there was one lasting takeaway from this unforgettable night, it was that the junior middleweight division suddenly feels more exciting than it has in years.
Like, not even worried. Said he had a great camp. Everything was trending in the right direction. No massive cuts. It didn't have to do anything extraordinary. Just go in there and be Boots tonight, and that was plenty. That was, man. I'm like, Xander, bro. Oh, I can honestly say I don't know if I've ever seen somebody get hit with that many leads. Clean to start. I mean, as the fight wanes, got it. Guy's tired. hey, you taking some punishment. You got, one of the eyes are closed. You got a bad cut. It's bleeding. But Ocho, in the first damn round, you're supposed to be at your absolute freshest.
Before the opening bell, many fans viewed the fight as another important title defense and an opportunity for Ennis to prove he could succeed after moving up in weight. By the time it was over, that conversation had transformed into something much bigger. Boxing now has another genuine superstar, and every champion in the division has officially been put on notice. The performance also reminded everyone why patience remains one of the most underrated weapons in boxing. As for Terence Crawford, only time will reveal whether his response was simply admiration for an outstanding performance or the first hint that one final challenge still appeals to him. Fans can debate retirement, dream about super fights, and speculate endlessly about what comes next.